Right now?
Yeah. Till 6.
Like you're leaving?
No.
Okay, I'm already on live right now. Hey, how's it going? Adrian, how's it going? What WR Rude? Is that how you call it? You liked your life? Thanks, man. I'm just getting stuff kind of organized a little. Well, just so I can move around. Then I'm gonna start assembling some parts to put back together on this thing. Pretty good. Got this pile of parts to be installing, and in the meantime, I just have to wait to come up with some more funds coming up. Basically, wait till payday to get this cylinder head sent to the shop to get the new valves and such installed. This We're working on my 05 Astro van V6. It's got the 4.3 liter V6. It's been a lot of stuff done to it. I just put in power steering, pump, and lines. Almost all the way done on that from yesterday. Here's the old lines on the floor. This is just me at home doing stuff. It's just kind of like a hobby thing I do for garage stuff. I'll work on my stuff. I'll help friends out, things like that. Basically show the world what kind of uh, like basically tools I like, things like that and stuff. Like everything's bought out of my own pocket. There's nobody's paying me to sponsor me to sell their stuff. I'm just showing what I do with stuff I do have at home, like stuff that I would buy, stuff that I would use, and I'm not biased because of that. If that makes sense. Like there's not somebody paying me to sell stuff and I get commission off it. basically trying to help teach people how to fix their own cars and stuff like that. So in here, when we left off yesterday, hi Sam, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in. This line right here, I gotta get it to line up and get in there. That's where I left off yesterday, but I got the lines underneath already put in and routed. There's the pump down there. That's waiting just a little bit longer. I'm gonna hook it up to the engine block here. And then we still have to get the cylinder head put back in. But yeah, the cylinder head, it's all good and within spec. And same with the engine block. Because the head gaskets weren't blown. I was just changing them because I was already in here doing intake manifold gaskets and spider injector. So we're gonna put new valves in the cylinder head because we had one that was pitted pretty good. So I figured we'd get everything freshened up at the machine shop when I send it off. Then we can reinstall it after that. But right now, what we're doing today, so we're going through and just cleaning up a little bit in here, and then we're also assembling. I got the ignition control module and the ignition coil that have to be assembled, and we're just putting together a lot of parts and things like that right now. I think I found it right here. But this pile of parts starts to shrink once you install them, and then you have more floor space. And it makes it a lot easier to navigate when you're not tripping over everything. So getting organized really helps. So I think this is... We'll set this thing down and we'll see what we got here. Because they're going to go into this right here. I'll show you what we're talking about. Alright. Look at these parts laid out. See what goes where. It's just to get pre-prepared so that it doesn't have to wait till the last minute. So this is the upper intake manifold. We're getting these parts put on this. This is the new upper intake manifold. The old ones had cracks and it was getting brittle because, you know, it's 20-year-old plastic. So they got a whole new unit. This is a Dorman unit. They don't have a OEM one that I'm aware of to get for replacement. So this is the best option for this particular vehicle that I know of. So we'll set that on top of that. And I know I got a new map sensor to go in here. We'll dig that out as well. This is going in here, but not yet. This is the new spider injector that's going to be installed in it. Once we get that far. Let me get this out of here. What cars I'm working on? This is a 05 Chevy Astro van, all-wheel drive, V6. It's got the 4.3 liter V6 in it, and that's what this goes on. So we're just getting parts laid out and pre-assembled on this, so when it's time to put it back together, we'll have it all dressed up and ready to go on. So let's see what we got here. I'm pretty sure this is the fuel filter. This goes in by the fuel tank. That we'll do that soon. Yeah, thanks for stopping in and commenting. Appreciate it. This is a throttle position sensor. That goes on the throttle body. So that's set aside. We're doing stuff for the upper intake manifold, which is sitting right here in front of us. And this is another, I think, coolant sensor. There we go. Okay, this is what we're looking for, one of them. Ignition control module. This comes with the grease that for dissipating heat right here. It's dielectric grease. And we'll find the other part that this is going to hook up to. I think it's right here in this box. Did you? Alberto, what vehicle, what engine? The same engine? What is this? What's this? Let me look at this. Okay, this is a map sensor. All right, this is one of them that has to go in it. Oh, okay. Yeah, they put that in what year? Silverado. So that's the older 4.3, like what this has got, right? Did it help it run better? Okay, so here we go. Oh, it's got a pull tab. So this is the map sensor. Okay. And let me grab, okay, I think, pretty sure this goes right here. Let me grab the old upper intake manifold to compare side by side. Just so if you guys are curious, this is what the spider injector looks like. This is the old one that came out. I got a fresh new one to replace it. So set that there just to. Okay. Here's the old upper intake manifold. So the sensor we're putting on the new one. Get it in frame for you. Okay, put it this way. Oh, the housing, like the spider itself, or the one of the plastic thing like this, the upper intake manifold. So you had like vacuum leaks. Okay, so see, this is the new sensor. Comparing it to the old and the old housing. They look like a good fit. Yeah, okay. So here's the new one that we're getting prepared. So it looks like this goes, it's right on it. I'll point you at this one. We were just doing the power steering stuff yesterday, so that's why a little bit of the fluid kind of leaked out on the cardboard. Let me see. I think it's just push. Just line up the things and push it in. Oh, that's okay. I appreciate you commenting and sharing your stories. At least it's relevant. It's got, that's what we're working on, the same engine. They put that engine in a lot of stuff, apparently. It's pretty, seems to be a pretty good engine, in my opinion. It's like it just kind of sits on there. That's how the old one comes out. You can see that. There's like a lot of play in it for the old one. This new one takes a lot to get it in there. I'm just being careful and don't break nothing, you know. There, get that pry bar out of there. I think it's in already. Let's check. Oh, okay, yeah, it's in. It just sits like that, huh? Yeah, it's easier because I have the 98 Blazer outside. It's got the same engine, the 4.3, as your Silverado. And getting it to that engine is a lot easier than it is in this Astro. Certain areas are hard to get to. And that looks like that just sits there. Okay. So that part's done. And these do, yeah, they have like that. They look identical. So our new and old. Pretty easy to tell which one's old and new. So this is where your spider injector is going to sit through. The spider injector underneath it. Let's get the rest of the stuff on this thing. Pretty sure the new one came with one of these. So let's get that out now. Here we go. Here's what we were looking for. These are going to go in here. Let's open it up. All right. So this little thing here, it's the same thing. This is what you see on here. Oh wow, you made a mistake. So how's, does it run at all, or does it not run right now? Okay, so this is what this is on the old one. Here's our new one on our new part. So let's put that in now. Here, try to figure out which way index is in. Just being careful. This stuff is plastics. You know, don't be too rough with it. Let me get a light in here too, you'll see better. There we go. That's better. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this. Okay, so if you can see, there's a little keyway where this part, I'll show you the part. So what you're going to be aiming for when you get this to go in is to see how this has a specific shape, and then this does too. Just going to push it straight into there and get it to line up. And you can see it through the back side. I can get it over here. There we go. Right here. So I think it just goes, just push it in. Okay, yeah, I think it's in now. And then we'll compare it to what the other one is. It looks like you spin it to lock it into place as well. Let's see what the old one looked like. We're just kind of get it to mirror it, except not being all dirty and old. Okay, so here's the back side. That's the part we want to know. Yeah, so it looks like it just you just spin it over to lock it. And I'll show you why I changed this. See how this looks like it's all chipped right here. If you try to reinstall that after this getting boogered up, it's going to cause a bunch of vacuum leaks and make the thing run terrible or not run at all. So that's why we got this new one here. So we'll get this over to lock in. So this little corner gets into here and it's locked. I'll turn it around and show you. As you can see, the tabs are turned a different direction than when they came in. So that means it's going to stay in there and not just fall out or leak, have air leak by. But I believe if we go this way, I think that's it. That's the only travel we get with it. So it seems secure. Okay, next up, we got this. So what this is pretty important. I actually have another package. I'm going to compare it. Because I don't know if this is a complete piece right here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. We got these to compare. So So this part was real damaged and needed to be replaced on the van. I'll show you what it is and what it goes to. This was all part of the assembly here of that. So while we're there, we're changing everything that's plastic or that looks worn out. Because this stuff's buried inside of this engine bay, inside what's called the doghouse on this van. And I think it's better to do it while you're already there, because it's buried in there. It's not fun to tear it all back apart just to change one part because you want to save $15, you know what I mean? Okay, so here's our part. Here's the one that came with it. So it looks like they're not the same. But what oh, I know why. The one that is from the original, I'll show you. It's still hanging off the valve cover. Let me grab it. We'll compare. Because this one that came with it doesn't look right. There's only one end off, and there's supposed to be two. The one that I got here in this package, luckily I got that because that has two. One goes to your PCV on top, the other to your breather line. Or maybe, hang on, I'm getting confused. Let me pull up the old one and see what they look like. 1 second here. Alright, here we go. Okay. I got this because this is also, we're changing stuff out also. It's what's called your ignition coil, ignition control module. And we'll set that there. They'll get into that once we get done with this part. But I think after looking at it, I think this is the right one. The one with the single. The double, I'm not sure. This might go to a different vehicle, but it's okay. That's why we take a look at our parts and make sure they match, you know. So this part is really important that we got this, because this was cracked on the old one. I'll show you where it was cracked on the old one. The rubber on the old one was right here. It was cracked. You could see daylight through it where my fingers are moving. That's real bad, because this goes to your PCV breather on your driver's side valve cover. And this other one goes onto this, to your upper intake manifold right here. So this is going to get put on here. Oh, then what this part goes to is your vacuum line that goes to your HVAC ball canister. I'll show you what I'm talking about, since we got the engine bay open really good right now. You can see it clearly. I'll show you. And if these lines get bad, or the ball goes bad, or both, you'll be trying to run your HVAC vents, say like your heat and your AC. Your blower will be running, but nothing's coming out of the vents, and this will be why. This is the ball valve, or the vacuum ball canister. Try to get a good view of it, and it's got these little fittings off of it. Let me try to see. Here we go. Here's the line. Right here. Get the light. Right here. Let me point to it. These little lines. This goes on to that other end. The other end looks like this, where it comes off this T. But these lines, they're notorious for going bad on these vehicles. As time goes on, they get basically dry rot and just disintegrate from all the heat cycles of the engine being that trapped in confined space with all the heat cycles and it being plastic and rubber. So these little things, pretty easy to change yourself. Also, when I was in here, I changed all these out. All these rubber hoses are changed, and those control like your heat for the heater core to in the rear, and then the heater core up front here. There's a heater core here, and then there's one in the back too in this. So these things, they're kind of like little thermostats basically. They follow if you have the settings on heat or not, and they'll close or open according with that. And if they're worn out, they don't work right, so you won't have your heat won't work right and things like that. So okay, so that's what that thing goes to, and we're gonna put it on here. So this right here. Or wait a minute. Okay, yeah, this looks right. Okay. Just throws me off when stuff doesn't look right. So to put this on, get the light in here. So this is what we're looking at right now. So when we put this on, there's like there's little indexing tabs, if I can get it to show. Here we go, the back side. See how the groove's bigger in this side? That's where you're gonna push it in from these sides and spin it over. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. Spin part. Since it's new, it's kind of needs a little more persuasion. Basically put kind of like your radiator caps. Put a lot of pressure downward and turn. Okay, it's starting to go. There we go. Yeah, it's basically exactly like your radiator caps are. You see how we got that to index and turn, and it's locked in. So we'll do try to pull it back off test gently, and it's fine. It's okay. This goes on next. That goes to your PCV. It's just a push fit. You just push it on. Pretty tight fit, so get it till it bottoms out. And that's good to go. So this thing looks pretty good. We'll just set this aside now, and then we can work on this. We're putting this back in the box and just letting it sit until it's time to install it. This gets It's back there too. This is the new spider injector. That's waiting for when we get to that point. Alright, now we're focusing on this. So this sits, we still have this old one here for reference. This sits on this side, I'll show you. Let me move it over here. Because these are the old parts, it don't matter if they get all nasty. They already are nasty. Okay, so this sits normally right here in this area. Let me think. No, I think it's on the other side. The holes don't make sense. They make it here. These line up perfectly. I think this is where it sits. Yeah, this side. Like that. So, this is what's called your ignition coil. Let me get closer. Your ignition coil. And then this is the ignition control module. So we have to reuse this bracket, but the gets changed out. This wires get saved too. That's from the spark plug wire set. And that's brand new, so that gets saved. So let's start that. Looks like we need probably something small, like a 4 or 5 millimeter socket on those. They're tiny. And also, before we start doing that, here's our new ignition control module. We're going to compare it with the old one. So it looks like these fins stay here. Those aren't part of it, but the unit itself's right here. This is our new one. It looks like a good fit. The key thing about this is this dielectric grease. This is going to go on the back side of the new one when it gets here. First, we'll clean it all off good after we take off this old one. And then when we put the new one on, we're going to we'll have a clean glove on and wipe this stuff on the back side in between the mating surfaces, because this is super important. If you don't do this step, it doesn't dissipate heat correctly, and it'll burn out prematurely. So very important step. So let's get our little 1/4 inch socket set out and remove this old one. Yeah, those fasteners are really tiny. They're probably like a 4 millimeter or 4.5 or a 5. So let's see what we come up with. Okay, here's our 1/4 inch set. All right, let's see what we got here. That's too small. Too small. Just keep going until you get the one that fits the tightest. Looks like it's a 5.5. Hang on here. Let's try this one. Too big. Too small. Huh. Alright, go to the other side. 5.5's not in this one. Okay, here's 5.5. This one should be right on the money. There we go, 5.5. Okay. Perfect. Fits just like a dream. Here we go. Not the greatest ratchet here, Craftsman one, but hey, it works. These Craftsman ones are pretty like tanks, man. I've done a lot of stuff with these things, and I haven't ever actually like broken them. You know, they're not the nicest feeling in your hands and such, but I don't know. I have nicer ones too, but I just have a bunch of ratchets. It just makes it easier on yourself if you're doing this kind of thing. So we set these screws in a nice safe spot right there. Because if you only have like 1 or 2 ratchets, you're constantly taking sockets on and off. And it's just nice when you have a bunch of tools of the same thing sometimes. And then various length handles and flex head and all that fancy stuff. It's nice having the options. So here we go. So this is not much to it. See this old one? See that like stain on the back? That's the dielectric grease. Okay. Okay. And once again, we'll open up that package right here. Since we have them both off, like totally taken off, we'll compare them side by side again. I think it looks good. Okay, so now that we got this off, we're going to open up the silicone packet, dielectric grease silicone. And we'll spread that on there. This part's really important, so you're going to go ahead and use up the whole little packet. It's not that big, and it needs to be on there. As well as this plate. This plate's going to get cleaned up too before we apply it to that one though. It's like you're putting like spreadable cheese on a cracker. Alright. See the tap packet's empty? Okay. And I'm just using this glove to spread it because I'm working with the camera, and it's nice if you don't have a hand all gobbled up with stuff to touch that. That's why I do that. Okay. Then this thing, to get this clean, we're gonna take let's see here, something to clean it with. I think I'm gonna grab, I got a little bottle of rubbing alcohol and some paper towels. I think I'm gonna use this zero scratch pad too, because it's kind of, you're gonna have to get a tiny bit of elbow grease to get that stuff to come off. But here's these pads I was talking about in your dishwashing section. Okay. And then we get the rubbing alcohol. Grab that real quick. Alright, we're back. We got it ready. Nothing special about it. It's just Dollar Tree isopropyl alcohol. And it's okay if it's 70 or so. Just, the main thing is when you get this thing cleaned off, you just let it evaporate any residual. So just put a little on there. That's plenty. And what's kind of nice about using the kind that's 70% is okay, this comes right off here. So our new sensor, we'll set that safely over there. We'll move this right here. What I was saying about it being 70 is if it's like a hot or a hot area, if you're using the 90, it can evaporate really fast. So if you have something with 70, it'll give you a little more time to work with it before it evaporates on you. Because it's pretty hot where I live here. It's basically a desert. We're getting in there pretty good. That looks about perfect already. Let's get the back side. Then also we'll get this thing too. See that clump is, like, you know, foreign debris stuff. That's got to come off too. Also, it looks like you put some more of your dielectric there. I have a tube of it, so I'm not worried. I'll show you. Here it is. Right here. So once we get to this part here, we'll clean this off and reapply a thin layer on this as well. Let's get this done right now. Let's put some isopropyl on that. Okay, that's plenty. It's just there to get the stuff off of it. So you have a nice clean mating surface. That took like hardly any time at all. Perfect. Let me grab, I got this rag right here. We'll wipe off any of the dirt and debris that's left behind. Just a lint-free old shirt that we don't care about. And then look at this bottom part. we'll clean that as well. Because these fins and things, this is like your radiator. It's for dissipating heat. That we call a heat sink. And the cleaner you keep this stuff, it works more efficiently for dissipating heat if you keep this stuff clean. So we're going to clean that part too. And be gentle with it because it feels like it's aluminum. So just be gentle with it. We're going to put some isopropyl on that as well. Put some back up here too because I didn't get a chance to wipe it and it already evaporated. That's plenty. We'll wipe this part first before it evaporates again. That way it's nice, fresh, clean mating surface for our new sensor. And then right here, we're going to take this zero scratch pad and clean this part up. It didn't take much to get it off. It's just something to do good to clean it up while you're here in front of you, you know. Putting it back together all dirty, you know. This makes a lot more sense just to get it freshened up. Remember, this back side goes to this mounting thing. Okay, don't set that aside. That's freshened up and good to go. This right here, gonna get this off. So same thing. The isopropyl. Bam, plenty. This should come right off too. We'll fold our pad up a little bit so you can fit it in better. Like basically no effort to come off. Then we'll take our clean lint-free rag. Get that all nice and ready. Okay, so we have to dig in this box over here and get this part out because we have a new one of those. So ideally, we try to take it apart and change all this in there while you're there, not just. Okay, that's our distributor. Here's our new head gasket. Okay, not what we're doing right now. I think this is what we're looking for right here. Let's go over here and set it down on the. Get these things out of the way so I have space. So here's our part. Okay, it's made in Poland. That gives me some. Julian, how's it going on, man? Just to notice you comment. Get that cricket, man. They're everywhere. There's a cricket factory. Thanks for commenting, brother. I appreciate it. So here's our new ignition coil. This box. I'm going to set it down over here in the work spot where we just were. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get the Dremel out. I think it comes with new screws to put this to the mounting bracket because they had them riveted in. And rivets, they don't come out like a screw does. We're going to see though. It's first time for me opening up this right in front of you guys. So I'm learning right in front of it as much as you guys are. At least about this part. Oh yeah, gives me a lot of hope and promise because that really resembles what this one looks like. Yeah. Let me see if I can get that in there. Cricket. Okay. So this looks really promising. You can see, okay, this is flipped backwards. That way. Same orientation. See where this hose, the spark plug wire goes? That's going to go this one. We'll change that over once we get this thing mounted in. That way it's not hanging in our way while we're working. Because I'm anxious to put it on right now, but I think it's smarter to wait a second. So what I've seen is right here, these rivets, they have to come out. Let me see what comes in this packet of stuff with this. Okay, so it looks like, you can see, there's some new hardware to mount it to this plate. That's what we're going to need, because these two little heads got to come off of this so we can separate this plate. This plate gets used. This part is not being used, but the plate is used. And so, yeah, so this part looks like it matches. It's a complete match. So we'll proceed. So what we got to do is get this thing dremeled off. I'm going to get the Dremel out. We're going to put it in the vise. I'm going to take this over there. It shouldn't take long at all with the Dremel on this thing. We had the old power steering pump that we were taking things off it yesterday, the studs, and that was a success. So let me set this here for a moment until I get you in a better position. Okay, that's supposed to. Okay, hang on. I just had you guys pop out of the tripod. Put you back in. See if I can get it in frame. Well, that looks pretty good. All right, now we're going to mount that thing into the vise once we take this out. That power steering pump is still chilling in here for the time being, so we could still reference the correct hose to get for the top, because the high pressure and low pressure lines that you get for that off of Rock Auto, where I bought that, didn't come with the reservoir lines, the very low pressure reservoir feed lines. So we're gonna get a match up of that. That's why that's there. Anyway, let's continue. Let me get this thing put in the vise. And we're gonna get it so we get clear access to the rivets, which would be, look, this angle right here looks like the best angle of approach to me. You don't have to go too crazy, like scratching and marring it. Just get it in there snug. Okay? Let me make sure you can see that. Okay, you can get a pretty good idea. I think I can get an even better view. Closer. You can get like a better view. I think that's better. All right, let's get the Dremel out. Well, we got our 3-inch cutter. This should do it a lot faster. Just gotta be more careful with it. Basically, we just have to go on the head of these, just barely. One down, we just gotta get this other one now. And this plate should come right off. Let's change the orientation of this vise so the sparks can go in a safer direction. That'll work. And just tighten it back down. And this isn't a fancy vise, it's just some Harbor Freight thing. Looks pretty good though. Better than nothing, right? Okay, let's get this. And we'll see if we have to take the other side out too. And I'm just doing, I wear glasses and we're just doing safety squints. I do have a pair of goggles too, but if we were actually doing a heavy duty thing with this, I would be wearing them. So just be careful if you're doing this stuff yourself. Let's go. That's it. I think it's ready to come off. It should be. Let's flip it over. Okay, so yeah, it's still in there. What we can try to do is take a punch and pound this through. Got some punches sitting here. Let's try that. I think we're done with this angle cutter, 3-inch cutter. So I'll show you this hammer I got. This thing was free at our local church, had a thing where people brought stuff in. And it looks like somebody made this thing. This thing's built like a tank, man. It's heavy. We're gonna try it out. Homemade hammer. Pretty decent welds on it. Yeah. It appears to be stainless steel. Looks like decent enough welded on where I don't worry about the head falling off. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, we got a punch ready. See if you guys can see what I'm doing. I'll get you guys right over above so you can see it. I'm gonna get the light over here too. You see those two areas where I just ground down the heads. And we get the light too. How's that? That's pretty good. All right, let's try out this homemade hammer. It's working already. That rivet's going in there. Just needs some more persuasion. This hammer's pretty sweet. Oh, looks like that one came right out on that side. Just this one's gotta go. Okay, she's out on this part. It's like we can drive it right through on this side as well. Let's just tighten it up a bit. Hope you guys can see that. Okay, yeah, just gotta tilt it a little bit. Okay, this rivet, here we go. Yeah, and those are kind of... There we go. Let me get the view better too. Get it up higher. Okay. It's almost out. Let's see if we can just take the pry bar a little bit to it. Get it to wiggle out. Without bending the plate. So we're just being cautious. We don't go too crazy doing this. Let me tap it in here. Because we don't care about this one. This isn't getting changed anyway. We care about the plate. Oh, it's working. That's what I like to see. There we go. We got under the lip here. See if you guys can see that. Okay, looks like you can. There. She didn't want to go, but she had to. See that? That's what's left of that rivet. We'll get that out. Okay, it's hanging up on that. We could take the punch to it with a hammer. Let's try that. It's kind of mushroomed out. We could take the cutter to it a little bit more. This one's just fighting us a little bit. We'll get the cutter. No problem. I find it nice having this, the electric one, as well as the air compressor run one. So sometimes if I need to use it in a pinch, I don't have to fire up the air compressor just to use the cutter if I don't need to. It's handy having the options. This is just a generic cheapo one. It's nothing fancy. There we go. We'll get the light in here better. Okay. That ought to be good. Let's try to tap it out now. Yeah, let's just try to pry it now. Get on this side with the light. It's better. I try to get closer to the area we're prying to get the more leverage. I think we'll spin it around and take the head off that rivet. These ones don't want to come out. You guys see the head on that? So just take that off. This one didn't have a problem. We're almost there, guys. I don't know what that was. Alright. So we'll lock this piece up back in the vise. Having this vise is really handy and helps with the safety of doing this with this cutter. So if you try to hold this with your hand or have it just free sitting on a table, it can like jump around on you. Just makes it a lot more efficient too. So we're going to take the cutter to this. Let me make sure you guys can see. Okay, you can. Not as good as I want to. There we go. Trying to get you like center frame. That's better, I think. Here we go, guys. Try to get in here. The guard's hanging up on. I gotta spin it a different orientation. Let's try that. It's catching on here. But always leave the guard on. Don't try to do it without the guard. A little bit more. We'll try that. There's chef's kiss, bam. He's out, guys. This side just has to come out too. I can lock this back down, take a pair of pliers and wiggle it a little back and forth and yank that out. We're gonna do that right now. And we're gonna save the hose off of this, but this thing gets junked. The main ignition coil. So these kind of vehicles, they run off of just one ignition coil, whereas a lot of our more traditional stuff you see nowadays, they'll have an ignition coil for each cylinder. This one has one for all the cylinders, and it runs off a distributor. A lot of stuff runs off of coil packs nowadays. Let's try to get this so it's secure. I think that's good. Try to get it on a flat. Here we go. This is perfect. Put it in there pretty good if you're doing this. Let's get some pliers out. They look like they'll do the trick. There, not too bad. It took more time getting the pliers out than it did to use them. There. Now we can go back down over where we were before and get these all ready to be installed. So let's do that now. Let's go over there, guys. Thanks for the advice in the comment, Ruby. I appreciate it. No harm's done in here. But yeah, safety is always the most paramount thing. You only get 5 fingers or 10 fingers to start. You want to keep them. And your eyes too. Okay, so here we go. Let's get our light set up. And let's get this going. So here's the original plate. We're going to grab an alcohol and just clean up this stuff, you know. Yeah, I find it takes a little bit of time to do this, but it's worth it. Because then when you're working with stuff, it's not all gross. That was plenty. That's enough for the whole thing. It's careful, or it's helpful because when you're working with this stuff, it's not all nasty. And then when you can see when something goes wrong with it, because the parts, or if something's not right. Yeah, you get it all. I thought there was a cricket running around over there. See, we're wiping it up with this lint-free piece of clothing that we don't care about. So that looks a lot better. This thing can go over here. We don't think we need this sitting around anymore. That's getting thrown out, so I don't care about it. Okay. And then we'll clean up this plate as well. Then we're going to get these lined up and assembled back together, so it resembles what it's supposed to be. So this part still has some dirt on it. But we're getting that up. Okay, good. Now it's good. Let's get into putting this together. All right, so this part's go on here. We're gonna get some of that silicone on it. It's just your dielectric silicone. That's probably plenty. Okay. We're gonna get a fresh glove on so when we spread this stuff out, we're not contaminating it with dirt. Okay. Just nice thin layer. That's perfect. Okay. So this will go onto here. Just like that. And we'll take our hardware that it came with. We'll put it here. We're going to put some of this dielectric grease in between this plate and this plate as well. So let's get that done. But the cleaner you have these things, it makes it so your hands don't get all dirty as much. Also, it's just a lot easier to work with. Especially when you're putting this stuff on. If you want stuff clean. We'll put a thin layer on this one as well. Oh. Okay. All right. Let me get this glove off. There. So let's get these screws through the holes. Oops. Slippery, so they slipped off each other. And we'll get our screws in there. Let's get this lined up. Spin this around. This looks upside down. Or something doesn't look right. Let's adjust things so they look proper. okay. I guess that's the way it goes. That's okay. Yeah. See, this is the right way. I'll show you. The old one has the lettering pointed upward like it's like you would think, but this new one has the lettering upside down. So that's what will throw you off a little bit if you're using this particular brand name product. And I got confidence in this new one. These United Motor products, these Blue Streak brand seems is pretty good. I got their spark plug wires in this, like their high temperature fancy racing ones. They make high quality stuff, so not a concern to me that this is junk I'm installing in. We'll line up these holes. And I'm not sponsored. Everything's bought with my own money here. So I'm not trying to sell you stuff. That's, you make your own choice. This is just what I use. So I'll let you guys be the judge on that. If you want to use the same stuff I use or use something different, I don't make anything either way. Then once we get this all lined up and good to go, any of this silicone that's oozing out and making a mess, we're going to make it all tidy looking and wipe it off because it doesn't need to be there. The only spots the silicone needs to be is those spots where I spread it, but it kind of squeezes out like if you're making a sandwich and you put too much in it, which is good, which it means that there's enough in there and the excess comes out, and that's fine. We're just cutting these in finger tight by hand for now. And then we're going to basically mocking it up to make it look decent. Like how it's getting it set up so we can install this other part in. All right, so this part sits up here. And then you have this plate. Okay, so that plate. Yeah, because remember we had to cut this out. So this thing has 4 areas where there's bolts and on the 4 corners. So when we get this lined up to be placed in, we're gonna go, okay, that makes sense there. That's better. Okay, this part was cut out. Okay, this don't need now. Okay, so we got these hardware with the new one. And we're gonna open up this. So it's got bolts that replace the rivets that we had to grind out. So yeah, perfect. This looks like right on the money of what we're looking at. Let me grab this rag and wipe my hands off. Once you get that silicone and stuff on it, it gets annoying. So if you have a chance to wipe your hands off, that helps a lot. Okay, got 2 brackets. Oh, so I can see here. Okay, 4 total fasteners, so that makes sense because that's what this needs. replacing the 4 riveted studs that we had to remove. Okay, so let's get this fitted up. Okay. Okay, that's good. So that hardware fits in there. Not sure if that's the right one for that particular spot, but we're just mocking it up right now. Nothing's set for permanent quite yet, so just going over everything. Okay, so it looks like these little brackets let me see, there's instructions in here. See if there's any. Okay, there isn't. All right, so we just gotta figure it out ourselves here, which is okay. So definitely these shorter ones don't go down here. So down here, I'm pretty sure we're right with what we're doing right here. Okay, they got these little locking nuts to go on it. Yeah, this looks right. Just put them on by hand, guys. You don't want to cross thread it. You know, I know how many times I say that on this channel. And if you ever had something cross threaded, you'll know why I stress it so much. It really sets you back, pain in the butt. And you round things off and cross thread them. So this looks like it's starting to resemble what it's supposed to. And these bridge brackets, I'm kind of, guess that goes up there. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what they're doing. I figured it out. This thing here, let me get you so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Just want to make sure. So in here good. So what I was talking about is this little bridge bracket. It's gonna go behind, get on there with the nut. Then these other screws, more like that. It's going to give this more rigidity and hold down strength. These little brackets are here for, and then you're gonna run your bolt through it. If these even fit. Okay, they're too short. I think these might be for over here if your stuff was like messed up or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the bracket then. If they didn't give you another set of screws that's long enough, I guess I'll just go with the ones that are on the bottom. That makes the most sense to me. Because I know having more stuff on this interrupts the heat sinking capability of that. Because this thing in the center here, this is your heat sink. This big block thing. See this big block thing? That's to just dissipate heat away from the ignition coil here. Because that's the heat's the #1 killer of your electronic things. And the way to make those things last is to keep them cool. We'll see what this is. This is from that box here. Yeah, to maintain your warranty, this is the thermal grease that they put with it. So, yeah, wipe off excess grease. Clean it good. Okay. So we're gonna, okay, that's all it says. So we've done that good. That's garbage that goes over there. It came with this other packet of grease as well. Well, this looks pretty much ready to go back in. It just needs to be the nuts and the bolts tightened down. And then, yeah, so I have this right here for these ones. And then these nut bolts with the nut, you're gonna need either, yeah, you're gonna need like a wrench on one side and your ratchet with the socket on the other, or 2 wrenches, or whatever you want to do. So let's get it in there and get these tightened up. And it's pretty loose right now, so I'll take the socket off and do it by hand until it gets tightened. Otherwise it's not engaging and back dragging on the ratchet. And these don't take a whole lot of torque, so here's this one. But look how much grease we got squeezing out. We're gonna wipe all that up. That's key detail, guys. You don't want that stuff, because this is gonna attract dust and debris that you don't want there, causing a premature failure even, possibly. So see how it's squeezed out of all of it? That's okay. What's not okay is just leaving that. So we're gonna go ahead and clean that up. Just making sure that we get these nice and finger tight before we go ahead and drive them into. This looks pretty good, guys. I was kind of worried about this. I've been trying to research getting this done. This isn't that hard. I think this will make it run a million times better. So I got a strong, super strong gut feeling the ones we took out was the original. That's 20 years old, man. This is an 05 Astro van. And I already did a new tune-up, distributor cap and rotor, but I never did change this part. And we have the spider injector to change as well. So all these things add up to big things. It's always the weakest link of the chain if you don't change everything else, and you change, it's always the things that you didn't do that come back. Because it can only run as strong off of the system, and then you have that part where it's not running up to par and it makes everything else sluggish. Because this thing had engine codes, the lean codes. So that's why I had this out. I already changed the fuel pump about a little over a month ago. I dropped the fuel tank, changed it to a new GM OEM fuel pump, the best you can get, because I don't want to get in there and do it again if I don't have to. So, and it ran better after that. But the rest of the fuel system things, this part of the equation, I think help a lot too. Because I know when you get a nice tune up and you change that stuff out, it works a million times better. So let's make sure these are tight. With the ratchet, we choke up tight on here, so we're not way down here on it. Because if you try to go like that, you can just break stuff, So just get it snug from choked up on the ratchet. Same thing I do with the oil drain plugs or anything that's really delicate like this. Just get it nice and snug, guys. You don't have to Hercules it. You're gonna break your stuff. I've seen so many oil drain plugs just butchered and boogered up from people going crazy on it. It's the amount of torque is negligent, like very tiny amount. You just choke up really tight on it, less leverage. You get it snug there. Because look how tiny these screws are. These are a 5.5 millimeter, guys. They're not your lug nuts. That kind of stuff there's more forgiveness on it with that. With this thing, you strip it out and you gotta figure it out to make it work, and then remember not to do it again. It's the big difference in these things of the parts in the engine. A lot of them take very little torque compared to every other parts, and it can vary depending on what you're working on. Say like heavy equipment and diesels, there's a lot more torque involved with big, even stuff in the engine. So just always do your homework first, and don't just assume. So let's get this tightened up too. Then we'll put that ignition coil hose off of the old one back onto this one. Looks pretty good. And then we gotta make sure we're gonna wipe this off too. Let's wipe it off right now. Wipe it off right now because you can like kind of easily forget to do this if you're not paying attention. But very important. The only spots this stuff's supposed to be is underneath there. Try to get it as clean off as good as we can get it. Try to get it in the light here. See that glob right there? That's gotta go. And we'll feed the paper towel through it. And get that stuff out. Get it all nice and clean. Looks pretty good. Kind of behind this plug here, but I don't think that's gonna make too much of a difference. But we'll do our best to get it out of there, I think we got most of it just now. Then remember, we still have to tighten these last bolts and studs up on here. These two. And then also, these things here, we'll set those aside to save them in our pile of random stuff that we keep. Because if you do this kind of thing, you always keep spare screws and bolts and nuts and fasteners, washers, because you never know when you're going to need them. And you try to go to the store and buy them, like individually, you'll just see why you keep them. They're pretty expensive. And they'll save your butt in time of need. And you just go through what you have if something breaks. And you might have it if you save that stuff. Don't throw that stuff away, guys. Keep them like in a jar. Okay, so let's figure out what size these are and get these tightened. It's not that one. So let's see. Okay, here we go. I got the socket set right here. And just already after going through and putting some of these parts in, I'm starting to free up more floor space in here. Getting the containers of these parts out of the way and not having this stuff taking up space. So it's nice to get this stuff installed and all prepared. So let's see what fits on this one. That's way too big. Okay. Let's try a 6. No, I think it's a 7. Here's a 7. Yep. So this back side is a 7 as well. So let's look around and get a 7 here. You want to use the right things on it so you don't strip stuff out. Don't put pliers on it unless you absolutely have no other option. I have other options, so I'm gonna get the right socket and wrench on it. Alright, here we go. And just like before, well, we're gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite on just a tiny dab, because this thing might have enough vibration in there to loosen up on its own. We don't want that. I got the bottle over here. Okay, here we go. It's just some generic stuff we got. This stuff works just fine. I put a lot of stuff together with it. I got trust in it. So right here is where we're putting it. Let's get right here. So we're just going to back this nut off a little bit by hand. And then the part where it was sitting, we're going to put some of this on it. Let me get here it is. This stuff's nasty, so I'm going to put gloves on when I put this on, because I like to wipe it into the threads with my hand to make sure it goes where I want it to go. And it's not a whole lot. This they're tiny bolts. But it just gives you the peace of mind knowing that this isn't going to back off on its own. They're highly unlikely for it to happen. So here we go. That's it. It's plenty. Doesn't look like I need to put my finger back there, but I was prepared if I needed to. So, same thing with this one. That's it. Let's do that while we're here too. Just takes a little bit extra time to put this stuff in, but the peace of mind is pretty good, in my opinion. It doesn't take a whole lot either. See, right behind it. Yeah. Help if I open the top, huh? Okay. Yeah, we got some back there. And just close this stuff up because it'll ruin the bottle if you don't cap it. That's got like a funky top thing where you push down on it and it's closed. So let's get this on here now. Swap out this socket for this 7. Put our wrench on the flat. Get it tight by hand some. Then we'll put a ratchet on it. You can see how I'm choked up on the ratchet too. This is delicate stuff. If you go too crazy on it, you'll break stuff. Let's get it nice and snug. While it's choked up, don't be out here on it with these delicate things. See, that's plenty. Let's do the other one now. Okay. Either way, you could put your wrench or your ratchet. On this particular application, it doesn't seem to matter. Just get it in there. I think this, okay, it's still going right. Oh, at least had it backed off quite a bit so it wasn't catching right. Let's try that now. With our wrench holding the nut in place. Had a lot of free space to get on there. Now we're getting in there. Really delicate, so pay close attention that we don't leverage on it from far away. So I've broken things like this when I used to not know that. You think everything needs to be super gorilla tight, and it doesn't. Not for these little fasteners, guys. Because also, if you see this metal doesn't seem like it's made for tons of torque. So if I like wrenched on this like a gorilla, it'd be biting into this stuff, guys. You know, another thing to know. You just want it nice and tight. And then for our peace of mind, we put that blue Loctite stuff on it. So it's gonna keep it from backing out and vibrating out. So this thing looks like a solid setup to go back into it. Okay, so let's see what we got next to put together here. We got some garbage, like old packaging to get out of the way. So we just get it all over there. So let's continue. Yeah, like this box and stuff. Old sensor stuff can go. You know, just get it all gathered up. There's a trash can right there. But I put it in a central location, so when it's time to put it all in the trash, it gets put where it's supposed to be. This makes life easier. See, like that plastic bag's empty. What's this thing? And make sure you check your stuff. Might be an O-ring left behind, but this one already has it out, so that's garbage. Then you're not digging through stuff that you already used up and wasting your time, you know. So to prevent that, we do that stuff. See what else we got in these parts here to do. Okay, this one we just installed. That's garbage. I think this is the sensor that goes on the cylinder head. We'll have that set aside and we can check that out too. So these are the intake manifold, lower intake manifold bolts down there. Those will come in handy soon. We're actually getting through all this stuff pretty good, guys. Pretty happy with that. Okay, that's lower intake manifold gasket set. That's gonna come in handy here. These are gonna go in really soon, but that's getting set aside. See, I already got some space freed up by doing, was just what we did here. These are our head studs for our head gasket stuff. Thread chasers. Yeah. So not a whole lot left to go on this thing, actually. We can go ahead and start trying to get this power steering thing back on that we were working on yesterday. We just had to get this line right here. We're gonna get this put into our brake booster on this van, this 05 Astro van. That's what all the stuff we were just doing goes to. So I did a mock-up of it. Okay, you see it there. I got another light too. I did a mock-up of it by my hands without the gasket in. But then when I put the gasket in, it's being weird, trying to not line up. So that's what we're going to be going at with right now. If we can get to see. I think I can do that. Just bear with me for a second here. Extend this out and then point it where I'm trying to get it to show you. Okay, that's perfect. You'll see it right where I'm pointed. Right here. We're going to be getting that into place. Or another attempt at it anyway. Hopefully we get this to work this time. Because these vans, they don't have what's our traditional brake booster setup, where you see a big like steel looking donut thing. This runs off of your power steering to give the pedal pressure instead of the engine vacuum.
because these vans, they have what's called a doghouse to get to the engine, because it's like deeper inside the engine. That's why the front of these vans, the hood space looks so small. That's how they do that. It's still like basically the same size engine, but they have to move the engine basically inside of the cab, to make it all work. Which has its ups and downs. I don't really mind it myself. Just trying to get lined up and seated in there. Trying to keep open view for you guys so I'm not blocking it with my hands. And I loosened up this fuse box right here, so I had access to get into there as well. So sometimes moving things out of the way or loosening things up out of the way, you'll get a lot better access, and it's worth doing it. In this case, it is. I don't get why this thing's being like that. I did put that down there. It's almost like the fitting's not right or something, but I had it going on there earlier. I mean, this is the things we get done in the downtime while we're going to be waiting to send that cylinder head off to the machine shop. So you get everything else all squared away in the meantime, like what we're doing right now with this power steering setup. That way when you get it back from the machine shop, you can just go ahead and start installing it and get it all going again. It'd be nice to drive this thing again, right? But I'm really puzzled about this line here. Or maybe, hang on a second. Let me look at the diameters of these things. This thing's like a big fat one. And then down here in the steering gearbox, let's look at that. Yeah, they all seem to be the same size. I don't know what's going on with that. Because I know the one I put into the power steering pump itself fit like a glove. So that's not an issue. I don't understand what this is doing here. Or if I need some type of adapter, or I'm just not doing something right. Get this over here. Yeah, it looks like this thing's not the right size. Like I think I threaded it to the wrong spot. Let me see. Because there's another fitting. There's probably just have to switch the two around. It's not a big deal. I didn't even attach the other one yet. So we got this power steering, or no, it's the AC compressor just dangling here for now. Let's see. almost think I need like some type of an adapter for the fitting. Just doesn't. Unless it's this one. Unless it's supposed to go into this side. Then let me trace where that line goes. There's that other line there as well. The AC compressor really sits in the middle of this thing and blocks a lot of the view. I think if I bungee strap it up, it'll be out of the way. Let's do that. I think I got something over here. To make something makeshift to make this work. I just oh, no. I'll have to pick up more bungee straps, but we're gonna find something to rig it up in the meantime, because that thing really needs to be hung up out of the way. That's really in the way. I know it's so heavy. If I try to zip tie, even like 10 zip ties, I don't think it's gonna hold. We're not giving up. I know I had some 550 cord here. That's what I was looking for. I got a small section. Let's try that. Let's see. It's not much, but it might work. Okay. And I think we'll secure it to these bolts that are coming off from the power steering pump reservoir. We can get it high enough up. Dang, that thing's not quite long enough. I'll have to like attach it with to figure out something. So close to. I know I got some more sections of it. I'll go inside and get some. I have some longer sections. That really needs to get out of the way. Cause then I can see exactly all this power steering stuff that's underneath it without that thing being in the way. So let me go grab that. All right, we got a good section now. This will be a million times better. All right, here's our 550 cord, also known as paracord. Holds 550 pounds. That's why it's called 550 cord. And it should be plenty for holding this AC compressor up out of here. We're going to get these in here and tie it off. Doing it one-handed. This thing's heavy, so okay, we got it. I'm going to tie a loop and then hook it up onto the part up top. Yeah, my bad. I wasn't supposed to be blocking your guys' view. I'm going to tie this like with a triple knot. So I don't want it to come undone unless I'm done with it. So here we go. Probably tie it farther down. Yeah, sometimes you gotta do things like this. Then I'll get a full good view, and you guys will too, of all this power steering stuff going on underneath the AC compressor. So we're gonna get that underway. Here we go. I'll tie it about here. Here we go. Oh, that's a lot better. Here, I'll get the camera pointed down here so you can see. And I'll get the light in there better too. Look at all that area that thing was blocking for my view. because the power steering pump's directly underneath all that. So now I get a good view, and I'm not looking at an AC compressor. It's not even relevant. Very nice. So let's see. This is the line I was talking about. So that one, we gotta trace it out and get that one out. Looks like it goes up behind here. Let's get the light in here. Kind of a confined space, but we'll make it work. Get our lights in here. That's better. Okay, so we gotta find out where this line goes. Oh, okay. That one goes up top here. Okay. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. I had a feeling that that was a power steering line as well. But with that AC compressor in the way, you couldn't tell. But now that it's out of the way, we can tell. Big difference. Let me get you guys to point to what I'm talking about. Right here. With the light on it too. Hang on. I'm hooked on something. Here we go. So this line right here is the other end of this line down here. Get it to show. This is the same line. Okay. So we're going to take that out right now. All right. Let's do that. Looks like 18, 19. Let's try those. What we got here? We got 19 sitting right here. Let's try this. Kind of loose. I think it's an 18. All right, here we go. We got an 18. Perfect, like a glove. Okay, I broke it loose. Yeah. She's out. Now we're just on get the whole line right out. Oh, that's so much better, guys, with that AC compressor just strung up here like that. Up and out of the way. Chef's kiss, guys. Awesome. Love it. That's what I needed. I needed that out of the way. Now we can take this whole line right out of here. Still got to snake it around the other stuff that's still in the way, which isn't much. Just one other, a couple lines, like some brake lines. It looks like. But since we're already torn all apart in here and everything, it makes more sense to do this right now, because when everything's all torn apart, you get a lot better access and clearance, a lot less frustration. So here's our line we just got out. Try to get it all back you guys up so you can see it. I'll get it out of here. Let me back it up so you can see it's pretty long. So, let me get you guys focused on it. So, there's a couple other lines here. We're going to line them up so it's all nice and organized so you see what I'm talking about, okay? Get this stuff out of here. Get the trash can and throw this stuff away right now. Makes life a lot easier. All right, this two, this two. Okay, so here's our lines that are going on. All right, kind of leaking on the floor, but we'll get that cleaned up. That's not a big deal. Showing you guys what's going on makes the most difference. And then helps me get the reassurance myself that I'm getting the right parts too. Because I think I have to buy another line. I thought this only had 2 high pressure lines. You can see one's got a different, like a L-shaped bend on the end right here. I think I have that line already. That's the one we were trying to put in the wrong spot. So that makes sense. Because I didn't know this had 2 high pressure lines. Now we do. And you see this other one to the left of it, how it has like 2 little, like really short bends. We're going to need to get that line, is what it looks like. I've already installed yesterday on live the ones here on the side with the cooler. Those cooler lines, they act like a radiator, I guess. Like a cooler, oil, or a, trying to think and talk too fast. They work as a cooler, basically like a radiator for your power steering fluid, and that goes underneath your radiator, like underneath the cross member for your subframe. So that all looks right. The only one I'm missing is this one right here in the center. So now that we took this out, sometimes when you take it out, you find that you need a certain part, or that kind of thing. But I'm pretty happy about that, guys, because I didn't know about that other third line, and I don't have that line yet. I already have the one, this one right here. I already know 100% sure that I have the same line of that on the far right. The one in the middle in question is what we need to get added to our shopping cart for next month, when we get all the stuff for the valve job and all that stuff on the cylinder head. So with me doing this in between, now I know what's coming up and what to get. Oh, we got some comments. Sorry guys, I didn't realize you guys are talking. Let's see. So JD Whitter or Whiter, none of leak have ever had a power steering. None of them ever leak. Did my lines leak? They were like seeping, kind of weeping. I was doing this because I had to take the power steering pump out anyway to do the cylinder, to get the intake manifold off. That's what started all getting into this. The intake manifold's over here if you're curious of what that is. The one that's behind that black plastic bag. That was blocked from coming out to do the gaskets on it. It wasn't leaking, but it had to come out. And then I found out the old pump, which is right here. I'll show you. Somebody who worked on it before me, either the previous owner or somebody, Let me get the light on it. They boogered up the threads on the end of that spindle right here. Hang on, let me set you down so I can point. Get the light in. So this thing, they stripped it out. I was using the puller stud with the tool to thread it in. And every time I turned it in a little bit, I barely touched it with the ratchet and all the threads were coming out of this. So instead of just leaving it like that, no, that's okay, buddy, typo, man. Talking like the way you're typing kind of thing. I gotta slow down a little bit and just think it out first. So this thing was all stripped out, so I ended up getting me a new pump, which is sitting down there in the engine bay now, but it looks pretty much identical. And without these threads being in here, I had to use the puller with a different type of puller to get it out. It was kind of a pain. It can be done, but it's not conventional, so I had to do it that way. So we're gonna have a new power steering pump. This thing needs to get the new line too. I just gotta get a generic, like, looks like 1/2 inch diameter hose here of that length to go on the new pump, because I want to have new lines too. Because what I've been seeing is if you try to use the old lines, they kind of break down over time. These are 20-year-old lines, the rubber in them, and it can cause your new pumps to fail. Also, it's getting this, which was recommended as well on the site. Oh, not a big deal. I'll show you. Those fittings don't matter. I already got the ones that it needs, but we'll put those back in. Never mind that. This is an inline filter. You put it on the return side of your power steering system. And what was cool about this set, I'll show you the package. We're saving all the fittings and putting it back in. Well, you see it comes, the 3/8 is already installed on this thing that's in my hand. And it's pretty much just a universal thing. Just stuff I bought with my own money. So I saw that they recommended it, so I added it. So if you have something that takes a 1/2 inch diameter, yeah, I agree with you. I wish I knew about these filters before, but hey, now I do. So, and the thing to know is make sure you have it pointing in the right direction of flow. That's the other thing. And they come with the hose clamps with it. There's one on the floor and then one in the package still. So if you're doing this yourself, probably help to have these installed too. It says it's guaranteed for 100 years. And it's a big claim. It says made in USA, or engineered in USA. It's probably made in China. Whatever. So I thought I'd show that while I was in here. So I have to get that new line, going back to what was going on earlier. We'll have to get that new line. Whoops. I'll get that later. We'll have to get that new line that's we don't have over here. Now that we got this out and did some detective work, I'm missing that line right there. And I'm pretty sure that they're gonna have it there on that site too. I'll go back through and check. Add it to the cart. And that's what that AC compressor was blocking the view of all this time. Otherwise I would have known this earlier. But hey, we still have to send this cylinder head off to the machine shop to get the new valves and valve springs all installed, and for them to do it all up nice, better than I would at home. So just for the peace of mind, I'm gonna have them do that. And then when we get that back, we'll bolt it all in and everything to spec. And then we'll go ahead and take off the passenger side and do the same thing to that. So new head gaskets, intake manifold, spider injectors. We're just going through it, getting it all nice and ready to go. So let's continue and take a look at this
I'm pretty sure the line that I was trying to put in is the one that goes on the other side here. So that might explain. Yeah, because I can see the orifice looks bigger. Let's take a look at that with the light. Let me get in here. I'll set you guys back down so I can have hands free. There's the hole that it came out of. Okay, so right over here is that hole. And it looks like this is the line that we were working with before. So it appears to me that this line, once we get it out of here, it's nice to go in here and do this detective work while I'm here anyway. That way it's all prepared and ready to go by the time we get the cylinder heads done at the machine shop, you know. We can get the angle right. Just have to snake it through the right spots. Here we go. That looks great. Pretty good. Let's try to get it so see if it fits in this side. Just being careful too, not to bash this and drag it on stuff. Yeah, this is the right line. Okay. Now I know. And then the other part down here, if we can get it tilted, I'll show you. That's hooked into the back of the power steering pump. So that's the right spot for that line. That makes sense. So they made this thing pretty much idiot proof, guys. They did a good job on this, in my opinion, by doing that. So you're not mixing up the lines in the wrong spots. And then also, oh no, that's the breather. See, if we get this stuff out of the way, you can actually see there's the breather tube. I'll point to it. You guys can, we get a stick. Or this works, there's pliers. So if you're curious where your breather tube is on your front differential on a 05, basically a 96 to 05 Astro Safari van, here's your breather tube right here. I can see it. Right there where I'm pointing at. Because that's right out of the top of the differential. That's really hard to see normally. You have to have all this stuff out of the way to even see it. So that's pretty cool. I think if I can get my hands on the new breather tube while I'm in here, I'd probably do it. But then again, maybe not, because I know this differential is having whine issues. So I was looking at if it doesn't quiet down on its own when I do more test drives again, when it's all good and to go, we're going to drop this differential out and put in preferably an OEM rebuilt one, or the next best thing, which of our reputable brand name rebuilt one. Just bolt it in and good to go. So it's good to go ahead and inspect all these things while you're in here, you know. Also, it wouldn't hurt if I get some more of that power wash spray and I go to town on all that greasy mess in there. Some brake clean, some, you know, degreaser. Just clean up in there too. And then that way, when we put this back together and we test drive it,
if we see anything fresh liquids, we can tell if it's new or if it was already there or not. So the time to do it, in my opinion, is when you got it all torn apart, especially when we're already going to be on a little bit of downtime anyway, while we're going to wait for those cylinder heads to get back from the machine shop coming up here. So not a bad thing to just go through and check everything out. See, we learned just now about this power steering line. Totally it blew my mind because I didn't know there's 3 lines in this. I thought there was just 2. So that's why this bend is in it, and it fits perfectly. Whereas I was trying to attach it on the other side, and the fitting's too big. So they set it up so it's only one way it's going to go in, and you're not trying to do it wrong. So it's getting there, guys. This thing, we'll be able to be driving it again soon enough. But it's these little details you just go through and comb through it while you're already torn apart all of this. So first time here getting to see the top of the differential. Let me get the view so you can see it. Now we know we have to search for that power steering line, high pressure line, because we had 2 of them, but there's a 3rd one, and we just discovered that. So we'll add that to the shopping cart to get. Not a big deal. Also, I'm gonna make sure I plug this battery tender charger up, so that way we make sure this battery stays topped off, because they can slowly discharge their power if they're not being used or maintained. So we just plug that in. I'll show you guys. Okay, and it's just hooked to the battery terminals. I'll get it so it's real important if they're doing extended teardowns and things like that. That way your battery isn't completely dead, or even worst case scenario, it just doesn't even hold charge. You know, you gotta just, these kind of things make your batteries last a million times longer. They're not cheap. So, and one thing to note, be careful with these kind of things if you ever use these. The negative on that charger going into there where my finger's pointed, I had it on my truck going last year in the summer. If you have those terminals all greasy and oily, it can become a fire hazard using this kind of charger. It kind of melted the plastic a little bit because it was greasy. So I learned that after, and I cleaned it real good, and it doesn't have any issues with it trying to burn anything or melt anything. So just be real careful, guys, with that. See what else we got. Well, we went through the parts. We don't actually have a whole lot of parts left to go into it. It's kind of just waiting on getting those valves, all the guts, basically all the guts for the cylinder heads, to get it all freshened up at the machine shop. But we can look at this spider injector real quick to see if we need to take the bracket off the old one, because I don't know if the new one had one. But this is the part number if you're looking to get one. A lot of people recommended this to me. It's made in USA too, so if you're at your wit's end and want a spider injector for one of these vans, check them out. Just bought with my own money, so let's see. So I put this away. We did this earlier where we assembled this. We're just checking this to see if it needs the bracket, and it does, I think. Let me see. That's the thing. Before you go ahead and throw away your old parts, make sure, absolutely sure, you don't need anything off any of it. And we're about to demonstrate that right now to you guys. can get this to sit. That's better. One moment, we're just getting the thing locked in. And we get a light out too. I set that light down. Alright, we'll use this light. It's okay. Oh wait, here it is. It's the one with the other light. So right here, get glove on. I'll get that out of my camera. So right here, here's our old one, old spider injector. Okay, so what I noticed when I grabbed the new one, I'll show you. Here it is. So we're gonna look in the same spots. Versus the old one. You see how this one's got this metal bracket right here in the center? And this one doesn't? We got to transfer that over. These little things, you know. That was the same way with the power steering pump yesterday. We did a bunch of stuff, taking the studs off. There's the old power steering pump right here on camera. The back side of it had the studs we had to swap over with the bracket because they didn't have it come with it. So I also noticed that it was like that also when I did the driver or the passenger side control arm, the lower control arm. It doesn't come with the little bracket on. You have to transfer it over. So I had to go dig it out in the garage where I put it. Luckily I didn't throw it in the scrap yet. But just make sure you absolutely don't need anything off of these things before you go ahead and get rid of it. Otherwise, you gotta go get it again or find it where you threw it and go fetch it back before it's lost. So, since this thing's pretty gross, we got another glove on. So, if I can get the light on it. It looks like it's got these keeper clips to hold it on. And we're gonna match it up. Okay. So it looks like we just take a little flat tip screwdriver and gently pry these tabs open to get it off. I got one right here. Okay. Let's get you guys closer to this piece. I think that's good. Better. Whoop, that's not good. We'll back it up just a tad. Okay. So, special attention to make sure that we get these brackets off. Because that's how it mounts in to the lower intake manifold. Without this in there, it's not going to work right. Okay, it doesn't take a whole lot. I think I got it unhinged on this side. Let's flip it over. Whoops. I think I got it. Yep. Okay, before we get all hog wild and just start moving things, set it there. We got our new one right here. We're going to make sure it's oriented all the same way. Let's see. That way when this bracket comes off, we can put it in the same orientation on the new one. So let's do that now. So And since this old one's being thrown away and nothing's being saved off this, basically, these nuts, we could take those off and just save them in our pile of like fasteners and stuff because it's getting thrown away anyway. It might come in handy, it might not. That's what I'm going to do. Because you never know. Sometimes you have these fasteners and they might save you down the road. It's basically free stuff. You know, well, not free. I had to buy a new thing, and this thing cost like $300. So, you know, but it's worth it for the peace of mind installing this in it. And it looks like I have to bend these some of these little sprayers away. We'll do one side at a time, just to put tension on that. I think this one can have the last legs sticking out the side. Like that. That looks pretty good. Get this side lined up. Oh, nice solid clip engagement. Nice. There. She's good to go. I mean, ideally, I probably should have cleaned this bracket up, but I don't think it's too big a deal. Yeah, it looks good. And we'll hang on to the old hider till we get it completely put together, just in case there's something. Probably don't need it, but you never know. There. We'll put this back inside that box to protect it from the environmental contamination. But I had a feeling I had to transfer that bracket over. Things like that, a lot of times the little hardware in the brackets and things like that, they don't include it. And if you think they do, you find out real quick when you threw it away and you can't mount it correctly because the thing's not there. So something I've learned. Let's see here. So there, we got quite a bit of stuff accomplished. Just getting it up to the point where, especially, we're getting up to the point where we get it ready so then this cylinder head goes to this machine shop. We can just go ahead and install it. And then this stuff will already be done because we're doing it now. So now I know I need to get that middle line for the power steering system, the one right here in the center. This one we have on the right already. We got this one installed already on the left. So we just found out this one was the one we didn't have. And that explains why this one didn't look like this one that we were working with. I kept on scratching my head saying, are they sure this is supposed to fit? Why'd they add all these weird bends? No, they did it right. I was just missing that middle line. So we make sure we just have our hose clamps and things off of that. So those are we're keeping the old parts around until we know for sure we don't need anything else off of them. You know, that way everything's good to go. So not sure what else we got for right now. Because, well, if we get more cleaner, we could clean up that intake manifold some more. But it's pretty close to being really good. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I could do the fuel filter here coming up. So you hear. I guess we could do that right now. It's going to be underneath the vehicle here by the fuel tank. Let me get a light. We get some water too. Because we're messing with fuel. We don't want that on our skin if we can help it. Okay, here we go. It's just nice getting these things banged out where you don't have to wait till the last minute, you know. I'll get you guys in position to see what I'm working on once I get in position here. Okay. Let me locate it. Okay. Oh, right here. Okay, I was looking in the wrong area. That makes sense. Okay, I'll point out where we're looking at. Okay, from here is better angle. Let's try that. Oh, right here. I was going past it. Right there. Fuel filter. Trying to get it. So we just had to take off this hold down and take off this with our 2 wrenches, and then on the other side we put our new part in. So let's get that going right now. I'm gonna try to get this camera in a good spot before we start. Let me angle it so you can see what we're working on. There we go. That's pretty good right there. If I can get it stationary now. Try to tilt it right. It's kind of hard because these legs are not like in that position, but I don't care. I'm telling it. It's okay. There, actually I got it pretty good. You can see this AC line, just like before, it's in the way kind of, but right behind it, like that. I'm going to duck it down a little bit and you'll see better, hopefully. Yeah, they put those AC lines right in the way of everything on these for your view. There we go. That's pretty good. It's probably, that'll work. So let's get, I believe it's a 13 here. I think this is a 19 here, maybe a 15 here. So let's get those wrenches. And here's our new filter. We'll need that too. All right, here we go. We got all the sizes we need. Start with this mount bracket. My apologies about that. Okay, let's keep going. Here we go. Okay, that's free to come out now. Now we're just gonna put our wrench on this flag here. I think it's like a 3/4 or 19. Okay, it's a little bit bigger than that. See what we got sitting here. Try this one. This works. Okay. Now we're going to get our other wrench on the other side of it. So a 16 on this side. Okay, she's cracked open and dripping a little bit of fuel. So let's get our stuff out of the way of that to let it drip. Alright, not quite loose enough to get it by hand. So let's get our wrench on there. Here we go. Just keep it so you don't get it in your eyes. Yeah, it doesn't need the other wrench on it once you get it broken loose enough. Oh, that's why. So to the 16. Keep on grabbing the wrong one. There we go. Almost out. I did change this filter last year, but I just put a new fuel pump in it last month. So we're doing all this other fuel injector stuff and fuel everything. So I figured we'd put a new filter in it while it's all done, you know. It's like a $10 part. Probably couldn't hurt, right? Just take your time. So this outer bolt was a 16 and this other one was a little bit bigger than a 3/4, probably like a 20 millimeter or a 21. I had a 13/16 sitting here and it worked on the flats okay. For the bigger part, the stationary nut on the filter itself. Okay, we just got that up. Oh. The pressure was out of here, but there's still some residual fuel in it. Alright. What's up, Kyle? Thanks for stopping in. It's been good. We just did power steering lines, and we were just working on the fuel filter taken out here. We just got a little mess going. Thanks for stopping in, man. I'm gonna let that sit there like that. I have to. Unfortunately, I gotta get going now. I gotta go get things done. But this is what we had time for right now. But if you were following along with that fuel filter thing I was just doing, pretty straightforward. If you're gonna do that yourself, I would have it all finished up. I can have it start finishing it up when I get back on the live again. When I do that, probably tonight, more than likely. So, thanks for stopping in, and we'll get back with you guys when we get live again. All right, till next time, guys. And yeah, thanks for stopping in, Kyle. Hopefully, I see you around, brother. Till next time.